Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. Pots and Petals here, everything garden and allotment related. Just look at those three beautiful sunflowers standing tall. One of my favourite summer flowers, bright yellow. I have got some reds and orange ones waiting to burst, so as they show their faces I will show you. So we're just going to pick up where we left off yesterday. We're just going to sow some more seeds today, and I think it's just going to be a general tidy up, and I want to get in the polyhouse just to tidy up those tomatoes because it is a bit of a jungle in there. As with any garden, it's never done. No sooner have I finished on one side of the plot, the other side needs doing again. It's just a never-ending task, but I absolutely love it, so I'm not complaining. So let's get stuck in and see what jobs we can get done today. I want to start in these beds. So we've got the broad beans, which have well and truly gone over now, but I am going to save some of the seeds on some of the pods. But I want to just get in there, give it a good weed and remove most of the plants that aren't needed. We've got the parsnips. They could do with a little weed, but they're absolutely fine. They'll be staying in that bed well until winter. And then these were the onion beds, so I just want to give those a really nice dig over, give them a really good weed, and then hopefully we can sow some seeds in there this afternoon. So I've given the broad beans a real good doing over, removed all the plants that didn't have any pods on them, and given them a nice weed. And I did have one last patty pan squash, so I've popped him just down there. Then we've given the parsnips a real good weed over. We've got loads of field bindweed in here, and it's starting to get all tangled up in those green leaves. So I've freed the parsnips, and then finally I've dug over the old onion beds. So I'm not going to be planting any spring onions in here because of the white rot, but I'm thinking maybe some beetroot and chard, but we'll have a little look through the seed box. I keep putting it off, but I think it's time that the strawberry cage had a weed. Look at the state of it. Right, let's get in there and sort it out. If you're new to gardening, strawberries give off what we call runners, and they're these stem-like shoots which give off these tiny little baby pups, and these are the exact copy of the mother plant. So as the little shoots come out, you'll find in these nodules that they start to shoot out the strawberry leaves. Now as the plant slowly develops, they'll start to send off little roots into the soil which will anchor them down. And over time, these little plants will turn into your new strawberry plants. So I'd only keep maybe one or two per plant so that they can share the energy, because that's what's going to happen just while this grows a little bit bigger. And then in the autumn is when you can start snapping these off, as these would have grown quite a bit bigger. But I'll leave these just for the time being. They're starting to send off quite a few little runners. And then over the years, you slowly build up your strawberry patch, and you can remove the older plants to keep on top of them. It's all looking how it should in the polyhouse at the moment. Everything is growing really tall, it's nice and lush. I do need to get in and remove some of the side shoots because some of them are getting quite big. I can see this one over here. Look at that. That's quite a big one. So I'll come in here with the secateurs in a bit and get rid of some of those bigger shoots. We've still got plenty of flowers. Don't forget to give them a little tap so that they are pollinated. And we've got quite a few tomatoes as well. So we're still waiting for these to ripen off, but definitely got tomatoes. I have got a plan of what tomatoes are what, so when they start to ripen, I'll let you know exactly what varieties each of these are. And then down at the back over here, we've got the 3 cucumbers. I did plant 5 over here, but only 3 survived. But the 3 that have survived are going great guns. So we've got all new shoots coming up just along here. We've got this starting to trail along the tomatoes, so that should be fine. And I believe these are just your standard telegraph type cucumbers. And then we have got the lemon apple one in the corner, but it hasn't started to give off any fruits yet. I think it's mainly the male flowers. We'll just have to see how that comes along. And then down here we've got the 2 aubergine plants. Now, because they are quite small and they haven't done a huge amount, I have nipped out a few of the flower buds, so I've only got 1 on each. So this is the bigger one. Now go careful, because I didn't realise that the flower buds on the aubergine are really spiky. Now, I went to remove a couple the other day and I jumped back in pain. I didn't realise that, so do go careful with those. So hopefully we'll get 2 aubergines maybe, which is better than previous years because I've never had any. And then we've got a little chili pepper down there, which doesn't seem to be flowering just yet. And then we've got this diddly little one here with the really petite, tiny little chillies down there. So we should get quite a few on those. I don't think that they'll get too big, but it is just a diddy plant with diddy fruit. And then over here we've got the cucumber tower, which is doing amazingly. It's really quite tall now. It's almost reaching the top. I could probably do with tying it in a little bit, but we've got quite a few cucumbers on here. Let's see if we can show you a couple. So there's 3, and they're quite long cucumbers. So very similar to a telegraph. Now I got these at the car boot, so I'm not 100% what they are. They were just cucumber. And then along here, this one, which is still yet to fruit, but we've got plenty of buds, I believe is the apple lemon. Now they're the round yellow cucumbers, which I've never seen, let alone eaten before, so I'm looking forward to those. And most of the other ones are outside in the actual garden on the plot. But yeah, no, really happy with how the cucumber tower is coming on. Get in here and string those up in a little bit. And then all the tomatoes, still got plenty of flowers along this side, just got to give it a good old tidy up. And the French marigolds are looking pretty healthy as well. Apart from that one, I need to get that one up. Come on, we'll pull that one whilst we're here. We've got the lemon basil. It hasn't grown much bigger, and I don't really know what I'm going to do with it, but we'll see if it grows any larger than that. Overall, very happy with the state of things in the polyhouse. Won't be too long before we have fresh salads with our own cucumbers and tomatoes. Another job I wanted to get done is I've already harvested these 3 over the last couple of weeks, but I want to harvest these 3 so that we can get a layer of compost over the top and sow a few seeds in there. And I'm thinking some spring onions would go in nicely, and at least that way we're getting 2 crops in here rather than just the potatoes. Harvesting potatoes is one of my favourite crops to harvest. It just takes me back to being a kid, and it feels like you're digging for gold or digging for treasure. So let's see what we can find in here. That's not a bad little harvest, to be fair. I didn't think that we'd get as many, but I've managed to fill up a flower pot full of potatoes, so that will see us through for a couple of weeks. I'm just going to layer some compost over the top of these. There's a lot of leaf mulch in there, and also some of the bark chippings that haven't quite rotted down from a couple of years ago, so it's not the best for seedlings. So a little layer of compost will make a lovely bed for them, and then we're going to leave that pot well alone because I've got a red ant's nest in there, so I don't want to be playing around in there too much. Give these a nice soak before we sprinkle the spring onion seeds on top. Now I know yesterday I said about doing lines, but when they're in these tubs and they're spring onions, I'm just going to sprinkle them on because there's not many weeds that grow like a spring onion, and I'll be able to tell what the difference are. And once I've sown these 5 beds, I'm going to go out to the 1, 2, 3, 4 beds that I've got out on the main ground and see what we can get in those as well. So in these 2 beds I've sown 2 rows of leeks. Now I know you meant to sow your leeks in April, but these are just going to be some baby leeks. I've never done this before, so it's a little experiment, and I'm hoping just to have some little spring onion type leeks by sort of August, September time. And then we have got a tiny little row just down here of pak choi, but I only did get about 10 seeds in the pack. And then for the first time in about 3 years I've actually put some carrots in the ground. So Autumn King, they're a good staple. I've done 3 rows of them in this bed here. Down in these beds I've done 3 rows of beetroot, Cylindra and Detroit 2, and then I've got a row of turnips along here, and then some more experimental baby leeks. So I think that's enough sowing for July. That's all we've got time for today. It's starting to get a little bit windy and it's starting to drizzle, so I think I'm going to head home. Tomorrow I'm heading into London, so I'm either going to go to one of the gardens or the garden museum. It's just dependent on the weather. If it's a nice sunny day, I think one of the gardens. If it's a bit drizzly, we might head to the garden museum. I'll bring you guys along. It's going to be the first adventure off the plot, which is quite exciting. But if all else fails, I'll be back again at the weekend for another couple of updates from the plot. I hope you're all having a great week. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and all of that good stuff, and I'll see you all again very soon. Take care guys. Bye bye.